Hello everyone, we're going to do a reading on why Camel, KH, would have lost and why DT might have won. I do think at the moment we're in that void energy that I said for November psychic predictions, and I'm thinking to do another reading on the current energy, which I might call the airy gap. If you want me to do that reading on the current energy, let me know, okay? We'll expect from November 11 a little bit more movement, and especially watch the movement that's going to be quite different. I feel like they might bring up, there might be a bit more talk about like the counting of electrical ballots, electrical votes or something like that. I don't know what what has been brought up. Understanding this reading, we're just pulling cards. It doesn't have to be too serious. I'm going to be saying for both sides, so whether you're this side, that side, or you're not in at all. It's politics. Neither of them are your friends. Neither of them are your family to fight, have blood fights. Having said that, there is one that needs to be careful for blood money, and it's going to be right in the camp. It's not going to be what they're going to pretend it is. That's after him. And I've already said many months ago in my psychic predictions about energies of being very careful at certain times and up to certain months. Anyway, right, for this one, we're doing a bit of entertainment. So why do we see that KH would have lost? Apart from the reasons I've already mentioned, like, you know, there was something, you know, there's definitely at this moment in time, a big thing about financing is people wanting their finances in balance. And so they felt that DT was the person. But let's look what the cards want to say more than that. And there's other reasons that we've mentioned in the psychic predictions, but we want to see what we get in additional, okay? So take this button. Oh. Straight off the bat, I get here that why did KH lose and why did he win in the first card? So this is our character's camel, and this is duck. Duck, no matter what he was faced with, you know, the attempted, etc., he still stood up. Remember that rally where he stood up and he's pouring with, what was it, fight, fight, fight? He still stood up. And this is an energy I want to get into at the moment. So here, there was things turning in her favor, but it seemed like there was a defense mode. There was a side that was not totally clear, and that the media was rolling in her favor. And so it made it seem like you couldn't see what was actually hidden and not true from KH. And people don't like that. Right now, if you're a truth seeker, but you are, take away, so no one takes this wrong out of the thing. If you're a truth speaker or truth seeker, and one side the media is trying to cover you up and it's spreading lies to us, we don't want that, because we're kind of in this, we're not stupid anymore. So stop trying to lie to us, stop causing propaganda, stop trying to control us in ways that's not worked in her favor or for the party's favor, let's say. I presume that she would have come out for a speech to congratulate Duck. I don't know why I'm getting that. Surprisingly, Biden's speech, if it's not happened, will be a lot sharper than hers or something like that. Or maybe because Biden seems more switched on when he does the speech, something around that. So definitely we don't like being lied to. In terms of that, I didn't ask the question here, but I guess it will go, because, you know, it's the same question. Told to take one more card. that was going to... Okay, so here I get that some promises around finances, economy were not fulfilled during maybe Biden's admin, Bloggs' admin or tenanture. And so here, I think it's done a bit of reputation damage to her. I also feel like they might think that they've got like the media or paying people to give kind of like an upward hand for people to vote for the Democrats, okay? Remember, we're just pulling cards, we're having fun, it's a card game, relaxed, yeah? So, falling through promises here, okay, that have come through. Here we get that people really want stability of their money and they're holding on to it and they want that as much as possible. A lot of impatience. People just want stability of their money. Everything else, they're tired, they're impatient, they want the change as soon as possible. And here we see that they believe that Duck will continue to just take risks no matter what happens. If it causes towers, if it causes corruption, whatever it is, I'm going to take the risks to do the change that I want to change. I feel here that they feel like KH might just not be, what can I say, might be stopped in her tracks, and she might actually say no, where he's not going to say no. He's going to be like a risk taker. Even if he fails and causes tower moments, or someone tries to stop him, he's going to continue to try and achieve the goal that he's set out to achieve. And I don't mean like a selfish goal. I mean, if it's whether it's selfish or whether it's for the people or whether it's for money or improvement, whatever the goals of the party he speaks for, he's going to continue to take those risks. He always comes at it that way. And I think that's what's really put forward, because I feel like people are tired and they just want that change. I think on my last reading, I really wanted people to come through with the ELVIS quotes, and one came through. Actually, we had a couple come through, and I forgot Mimi's. One was like a little less talk and a little more action or understanding or something like that. Where was I going with this? It was fitting with what I wanted to say. Like, it reminded me, like, just get on with things. We want to change. There's an impatience here. And I feel like they felt that they would need to wait a bit more if it was the Democrats to see the change that they just so people impatiently want right now. Like, Democrats will be more methodical, slower at looking at things. I'm not saying this is bad or good. I'm just telling you what I'm getting in additional to the other stuff. And it's just kind of like, just let's get the change, whatever happens, you know. It might be like, well, they're all corrupted anyway, so whatever they do to just obtain is needed. We're tired of the current sort of life. And again, the big thing here is really about the media broadcasting, and people want truths. There's some fear here as well, and I'm not sure what it is. I mean, was there propaganda of like fear? If you don't vote for me, things are not going to go right for you. That there's lies. There's something that didn't work quite in the Democrats' favor, how they felt it should. People felt a bit of fear and guarded here. A little bit of feeling that, will what is being offered in terms of love actually be shared with us all, or will it actually be more or less selfish achievements? Or how can I say this so no one gets pissed off? Not sure to trust the outcome is going to be delivered to the people fully, like 20%, 80% or what it is. Here, there's some sort of trust that whatever feast is delivered, there will be some for the people. There's like a wish fulfillment that they believe will happen here with Duck. They're not sure if the Democrats, let's put KH, is going to act in, or you know what it is, what I've said in my past readings. Let's just get another card. Told to take this one. Yeah. Immigration for Trump as well. Sorting out the immigration issues. Here, it's kind of like, is she a puppet to someone else, Biden or someone else? But also not only Biden, someone that's hidden. Someone who's hidden in the background that calls all the shots. Not necessarily a dark figure here. And so is she a puppet for others? And not necessarily going to use what she can bring, which is some amazing achievements. Like, will she just back down and say no rather than stand up to people? Trump, the migration is a big one here as well. We've mentioned it before, and that's why I'm not going into international affairs and ramping on stuff I've mentioned before. I'm trying to say other stuff. By the way, in my psychic predictions, hopefully I'll remember, just in case, I think there's going to be a whole change in terms of internet Wi-Fi protocol. And I think a lot of that is going to come through Trump's, if he does the whole thing, sit-in with Elon and also across the world, like, you know, in terms of even restrictions for children. But something I was getting with the Democrats that maybe I didn't share is that I felt the crypto, the Bitcoin kind of thing here would have had more sort of paperwork, policies, hacking checks than what Duck would do, which would piss people off, would make it safer. But with Duck, it'd be like more streamlined and easier to just do what you need to do, less stalling and challenges to overcome. But then there's that security risk. Here, I feel like there's kind of like a comfort, security feeling. I really feel that media's done damage because it's tried to hide lies that actually got out to show certain things. There's a security comfort that Trump gave to the people. He reached the people in the way he needed to be reached. They needed to be reached. We can see that he can be overconfident, right? We know that, right? He can be overconfident, and but he's kind of like, yeah, I'll throw a few snaggy remarks, but whatever happens, I'm going to get up and do what I need to do and solve what I've said that I will solve and want to solve. But he's sticking to it. And here, it's just a bit questionable for some reason. Like, can you see the cards? He's not worried about being the most angelic. He just it's about, I'll take the risk to achieve what I need to achieve, especially around migration and the things that he's promised. Do you know when I'll give you this, you know when there's a bank heist, right? It's kind of like they're there to do the job regardless what they're doing, whether it's corrupt or not, they'll just get it done. They're professional in getting something done that needs to be done to achieve the final goal. Final goal achieved. This is again saying that people felt left out in the cold, a loss of hope, and he's reached to the people. Here, it wasn't clear for a very long time in terms of what, again, I'm going back to, it seems like it's going to be very methodical. It's going to take time to see the changes that people really want to see, because people feel like, no, we've been put out in the cold. We've not had 3 cups. We just keep getting 2 cups. It's time for a change. I also think, the Rogan show, when I put success, even though I never saw it, I think he got a lot of male, younger voters that he did not have on board prior to that show. This, by the way, please look at who you're watching, because this is not about demonizing people, right? We don't demonize each other. And we need to understand each other's side. We need to understand that probably who voted for here, who voted for here, you have the same goals. You just think this person is better than this. You've also got caught up in the narrative of whether a psychic or a channel has said, oh, these are going to give you these. This guy is corrupt. This guy will make you have abortions. This guy will, I don't know what else. He's going to, and I mentioned it in my psychic predictions, what certain things he's picked up on that he is going to slowly introduce. People are the guy is not even stood in to make the change, but by the way, I think he's been having more power in the running of the country as opposed to not. Like there's some involvement there. Like, you definitely can see it with international leaders, right? I do think he probably gets calls and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's bad or good, it's just a 2 cents on it. So you probably need, you want the same things, you want the same needs and wants, right? But watch from the 11th, certain movement, and I mean that across the world as well. So, some people are going to be like, oh, the duck days are dark. But then you're going to be like, you know what, I'm glad I didn't get what I want. And some people that got what they want realize that, what do I do with it now? Something's not fitting, they're in shock. I mentioned this in the psychic predictions. And it doesn't just tie into KH and the US elections. Final cards. Definitely waited on him in terms of whatever's going on in the justice background of this. But here we've got, she spoke to the people, but for some reason she didn't speak on the basic family needs. That's what I get with this. She really, like, people felt her energy was a good person. Forget the Democrats for a moment. They believed in that, but because they see this kind of good person, some people were like, is she going to be able to stand up for what is needed to be done? Or is she going to be backing down? And Duck reached the average family in some way, families in particular. Like, as opposed to individual or sectors, he reached families. So I really feel like it was, Doc is a stronger leader. She's not ready for the beasts of the world. Okay. Shall we see how they're feeling? I feel like she's got a bit of loss of confidence in her energy already. I'll also, if you want, do a quick reading on what might be Duck's focus. Let's see how they're feeling at this moment in time. So how is KH feeling post the election. How is KH feeling? She's obviously had to walk away. And here we see, just in case you can't see the cards, sorry, she'd been more strategizing and working on this methodologically for quite some time, something quite solid, and she's had to walk away from it after obviously what was announced. But in some way, she's holding on to something. She's holding on to her ground and possible being able to have a change in something. So I'd watch that space. I don't mean that necessarily they will tap this, but maybe she will try to advocate for things in her own way, which is going to have some kind of power on people that believe in whatever she speaks on. I do energetic as I read her energy. I think she's had a loss of confidence through this. Cards don't lie, do they? Trump is very happy. He feels like he's been recognized, okay? He feels like his health is feeling a little bit better, like massive weight is off his shoulder. He's able to breathe here, okay? He's happy that he's been recognized, honored for what he's been trying to do with the rallies and everything else to move forward in success. There is something that he's a bit guarded on. And I did want to mention in my readings, I've said about, I don't want to keep harpering it on this, but the attempted A's, he is guarded on that. The problem with this is that it's the rats in the camps, and those are kind of blood money, but I feel like they might to any attempted thing, they will just in the media say it's maybe this country, that country, or it's under, you know how the current ones that have happened, and I read on a few, they actually have tie-in into being hired. So just be careful what you believe on that. But I fully believe he knows. Like, I don't necessarily know that. I don't think he knows like, oh, the next person is going to attempt here now. But he knows, and he's on guard, that his security needs to be heightened. The problem, like I said, is when it's in the camps. But he feels recognized. But that's what's making him feel on guard, which makes sense, doesn't it? So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this quick card pull. All right, we see good and things that could have affected for next time. If any runner-up is listening, take some notes. See you in the next one. Bye for now.